Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. أما بعد أحبتي في الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسأل الله كريم رب العرش العظيم أن يتولنا في الدنيا والآخرة. We ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, accepts our good and forgives our evil, protects us from kulli su makruh, rectifies our condition and affairs. Ahabati fillah. So when should we give zakat, zakat al-fitr? So as for the time of giving it, it is two times: a time of virtue, which is the time of fadila, the al-waqt of fadila, the virtuous time, the best time. And then there's a time of where it's permissible, like many acts of ibadah or some acts of ibadah, that there are times when it is desirable to do it, and then there are times when it is the basic, where it's permissible, okay? And then there are the times when it is prohibited. So it has two times: a time of virtue and a time of permissibility. As for the time of virtue, meaning the best time, it is the morning of Eid, before the prayer, due to what has been narrated from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala. He said, we used to give on the day of Fitr during the time of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam a sa'a of food. And also in the hadith of Ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam commanded that zakat al-fitr be given before the people go out to the prayer. And this is Ruwahu Muslim. Ibn Ayna said in his tafsir from Amr ibn Dinar from Ikramah, who said, a man gives his zakat on the day of fitr before his prayer. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed he succeeds who purifies himself and remembers the name of his Lord in praise. And for this reason, it was from the preferable acts to delay the Eid prayer on the day of Fitr. So, Yom al-Fitr, Eid al-Fitr, the Eid prayer is actually later than it would be for Eid al-Adha. And that is to allow more than sufficient time to be able to pay zakat al-Fitr. And also people normally would have been fasting because of Ramadan, but now they have a little bit more time to eat, and it's from the sunnah to eat before the Eid. And so as for the time of permissibility, the other time, the time when it's permissible to pay your zakat, it is one day or two before Salat al-Eid. In Bukhari Sahih, from Nafi', he said, Ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma used to give on behalf of the young and the old, even giving on behalf of my children. And he used to give it to those who would accept it. And they used to give it a day or two before Fitr. And it is not permissible to delay it beyond the Eid prayer. So if one delays it beyond the Eid prayer without a valid excuse, it is not accepted from him, because that is contrary to what the Prophet ﷺ commanded. So whoever gives it before the prayer, it is an accepted zakat. And whoever gives it after the prayer, it is a charity from the various types of charity. So that means they would have missed that Eid, the Eid al-Fitr, meaning or the zakat al-fitr, paying it. So it shows that it would only be considered like a type of sadaqah, a type of charity. So if he delays it due to an excuse, then there is no harm, such as if the Eid comes and he does not have anything to give from, or he does not have someone to give it to, or the news of the confirmation of Eid comes suddenly in a way that he is unable to give it before the prayer, or he is relying on someone to give it on his behalf and that person forgets to give it. Then there's no harm in giving it even after the Eid, because he is excused in that. So this is for the one who's ma'dur, who has a serious legitimate excuse, which is under those circumstances that the Sheikh mentioned. And what is obligatory is that it reaches the rightful recipient or his agent in its time before the prayer. So the time of permissibility, as previously mentioned, for giving zakat al-fitr is a day or two before Eid. So the permissible time is a day or two before Eid, and not a week or two before Eid. So not halfway through Ramadan, you say, I want to get this over with, let me pay. No, but rather as far as the actual distribution, a day or two. Now, as we mentioned in a prior sitting, that if you, for example, at the beginning of Ramadan or midway through Ramadan, you sent money to be distributed, it is not that you are paying wealth, number one, and number two, it is not that you are giving it outside of its time, because you are giving it, sending it somewhere to where it will be distributed at the time on your behalf. And so that is something that is definitely worth highlighting. Now, and then there are other views with regards to the Ahnaf, but the most sound, according to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what is thabit from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Sabil al-Mu'mineen, is that you do not pay wealth. Money is not distributed to the poor for Zakat al-Fitr. Zakat al-Fitr is from food. Naam. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.